All right, guys, we are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Patreon.com/NEACE University. It's a cheap way to understand and learn all the concepts in League of Legends. We're updating and improving and upgrading that every single month. It's one of the most comprehensive Patreons in the League of Legends space right now. My goal is to make more affordable ways for people to get into the game and to give people options to get good at the game. So yeah, anyways, so why don't you tell me what your goal with the video game is?
I'm just trying to get better, learn things, probably try and hit platinum if I can. I've been playing for a stupid long time.
Stupid long time, but there's no, like, this account, there's not a ton of games on it. At least it doesn't look like it, unless you only play norms usually.
I did play a lot of normals, like, a long time ago. I didn't start playing ranked until maybe season 5, 4, somewhere around there.
Okay, how many rank games do you think you'd need to get to platinum? You're at 200 right now.
At this rate, probably another 200 or 300.
I'd probably say about another 500 or 600 at least. I'm just warning you is all. It's going to be a bit of a grind to get over these hurdles. When you start getting into gold/platinum, you start facing people that have played for a long time, and you're really going to have to put the work in if you ever want to turn that corner. It's kind of like a bike though. Like once you learn how to get to that level, it's kind of hard for you to lose it, in my opinion, unless you're talking like absolute, like top of the ladder, like challenger, master up or something. You're not going to really lose that once you can pull it off once. Does that all make sense? But it's going to have to take an investment up until that point. Wukong Jungle's about to be nerfed, though. You're going to be depressed to hear that, but it's true. How bad of a nerf is it going to be? I know it's going to be, it's going to hurt his clear a little bit. I still think he'll be okay to play. I just don't think he'll be as good. He is a competitive pick right now, and that means like he shows up in high elo and he's quite good. Tough champion to beat. All right, let's see what you do with this start. So we elect a full clear. Okay. Do you do these full clears often?
It depends. If I see an opportunity to gank top, I won't. I will skip the top camp and move over there and then come down to the scuttle.
What did you just do here, good sir? Let me watch this back. Okay, this is one of those moments where it would behoove you.
Yeah, that's a super flash.
Yeah. So you get the kill. Okay, so we've already made a little error here. What do you think I'm going to say about this?
Oh, I should have backed and bought at this point.
Right, it's a recall. There's no real reason to start Gromp again. If you just slam your recall, it's going to be better for your clear than what you're about to do, which is you're going to feel like you've got to keep clearing after you start Gromp. Oh, you're just going to...
I was watching bot to see if I could get a gank off on it, which is why I went to Gromp, but nothing happened. They were pushed up pretty far, but nothing came of it.
This was kind of goofy. I think a recall after the kill would have been nice. You would have been able to get towards your Sunderer. You would have been able to get a Sheen and like a longsword or two. But it doesn't really penalize us quite yet. I mean, it kind of does, in my opinion, because it hinders your kill speed or your clear speed. So like this Hecarim's obviously tempoing you right now, and a big reason for that is because you just didn't back. And that would, that would help. You could have done the same exact thing at the same amount of time, except you would have actually been able to gank or something after. You just kind of keep yourself off the map for longer doing it this way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No. Yeah, this is just a flip. All right. When I think about this game, and I think about what you just did. So you went, you backed, and then you grab your items. You see, okay. Yeah, you see Quesante top is getting ram ranched, and you decide that you're going to go towards bottom.
He
Now,
apologized later, saying it was his second ranked game. He got completely butchered.
was that, you say it was your duo? Or was it just a random Quesante?
No, it was a random Casante, and he said it was his second ranked game ever. And
Oh, really?
he got butchered.
That sucks.
He apologized for it, and nobody framed him for it because everybody's got to start somewhere. But
Right.
that Renekton got big.
So let's talk about this dragon timing for a second. What makes you think that this is a good time to do dragon?
Okay, so I just bought. I have alt. Bot lanes being pressured, so they can rotate up. Now our mid lane is getting pushed to turret. So I figure we're probably stronger in this situation.
Do you feel like this type of scenario is our best play for winning this video game?
Oh, absolutely not. That wasn't even me that was pinging the dragon. That was the bot lane, and I was just like, okay, let's do it. If they want to do it, I'll attempt it.
Yeah, my thing is, I'm just wondering, you know, you're playing a carry jungler and you're basically flipping dragons, but you've already got your lead. So usually my logic is, and sorry, we're at 8 minutes. Okay, let me reload this. So usually my logic is when you're playing a carry jungler, any champion that like 1v9s, like a Wukong is a pretty big carry. So I'm usually going to play for Rift first every time.
I normally do.
Well, then don't get distracted by your bot lane. You've already gotten your lead. Don't let your team drive the action. Don't let the team drive your action. You shouldn't even really be pathing down here anyways. This wave is pushing forward. It's a Sivir Nautilus. You could just put, I mean, your bot lanes are just going to push automatically anyways. Now, for me, like this type of stuff here, you can literally see this is like a perfect example. You're about to give away Rift, but you could have just walked over and took this shit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's normally where I go.
Now, would we have full cleared up to it? I don't know. It's kind of bizarre that the Hecarim's like rushing it cold like this, but still yet, like if you have to choose, you know, for you, when you get a kill early, you should really be thinking like, I just want to secure Rift as fast as I can. And, you know, I also think, additionally, I also think that would be easier for you to gank something like a Renekton as Wukong than some of these lanes that you're bumping into. You've got a Nico, which is kind of obnoxious, a LeBlanc, which is kind of obnoxious. I do think that you have setup in mid with Malzahar, but he doesn't have ult. And I don't know. It just seems like diving into the Nico Varus just feels to me like it's going to be those situations where you guys are going to dive and get cock blocked under tower or just baited, or, you know, just, it doesn't feel like a great dive. I would rather just play for my power spike, which is just going to be Sunderer, and make the game a lot easier than doing these like really tight dives where people outplay me. Does that all make sense? Like when you gank LeBlanc, she's like super slippery and hard to get to. When you gank Nico and Varus, like Nico or Varus is easy to kill, but Nico's always annoying and you'll like misplay verse it or get rooted up, right? Varus is going to be 6 here. So it's just like, I don't know. It just seems like it would be better, at least in my opinion, to just play away from these types of lanes and just work your way to your rift since you're already ahead. If that all makes sense.
Yeah, that's normally where I go.
And when you talk about doing dragon, so dragon here, if you guys were going to do dragon, you needed to start going right as soon as the wave was going under tower. You guys didn't really do that though. You're saying like, well, the bot's pushing. You're not wrong, but you guys aren't actually starting dragon yet. You see this?
Yeah.
It should have been started already. You should have just ran. The wave is the, think of it like this. The wave is the clock. The wave, when the wave moves, that's your clock. That's your clock to do something.
Yeah, I should have already been on it if we were going to do it.
Right, right. It just gets a little janky when they're allowed to basically clear, and then they watch the enemy team. They see you walk a dragon. It's not. This is the difference. It's not like there's a big wave building and a big wave building, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna walk a dragon here because we've got tempo, we've got a rhythm. No, you guys actually show the wave go under. Your team doesn't push anymore, and now you just start dragon. So when the waves are equal like this, watch the waves here at bottom. When the waves are equal like this, bot lane loses nothing. They can always contest. This isn't actually a push timing. Like this isn't a crash timing. This is just a cold dragon, and you guys are basically just saying, "Hey, we're gonna tank this dragon, get ourselves slowed by this fucking water drake, and you guys can come over here, and we're just gonna flip it in the pit." That's what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if you can just recognize when you're, why it's awkward and why it's goofy, that would really help as well. Because if you weren't flipping in the pit, I don't think this goes as bad. But because it's in the pit and they know exactly where you guys are, they just get to collapse in and front to back, and it goes reasonably well for them. Even though, yeah, you probably, if you had a better timing, it probably would have went your way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Go ahead and share your screen. Let's start queuing up. And you can let me know when you're in loading screen, okay? And we can just keep watching this while you're loading into a game. I guess what I'm trying to say, dude, if that was all confusing, is that your responsibility as a jungler is to recognize when the game is like, when you're doing fine and you just keep your lead. There was nothing about that was like, this is a fist pump fight for me. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, dragon wasn't my call on that one. I just went along with bot lane.
You do understand why that's garbage.
I should have picked them all.
Right. Right. You can't throw up your hands and be like, well, they called it, so I did it. That's just, I mean, yeah, sometimes your teammates will call and they'll be right. And, it is what it is. But you need to make it your call. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You need to be paying enough attention to recognize that the call is kind of sloppy and just say, wait a minute, I'm ahead. I'm just going to clear. I don't know if this makes sense yet, so I'm just going to wait for a different play. I'm ahead. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Saying things like, let's flip the dragon out loud means that you're behind. That's my point, is that like, if I'm ever saying like, fuck it, I might as well just try this, that means I'm really behind. Whenever I catch myself saying fuck it, YOLO, and I'm ahead, I lose. Do you see why I'm using that as a metaphor for this?
Yep.
Because you were in charge, you're in the driver's seat, you're running free boots and you had a kill. And Hecarim's not running free boots, so you've already gapped your opponent in that regard, because you're going to get free boots, but you haven't unlocked them yet, and you haven't hit your item yet. So just wait for your item, because you should be able to get your item before the Hecarim does. Because the Hecarim, in general, when you run inspiration tree, anybody that runs the inspiration tree, it always has a first act to their item spike. If you look over here at the Hecarim, you see how his build, he has to go into boots first. See the difference?
Yeah. So
when you're doing goofy shit, when you've got a kill, that's why inspiration second is the bomb. It's because you get closer to boots, you give yourself, 300, I think it's like 350 gold value boot, and you don't have to put it in your items. So you can just focus on getting your item out. So that means that you can push for your mythic right away, like you're doing here. That's always been my opinion about itemization in this game, is just usually if you can get it, basically, if you're relying on a one item spike to be useful, hint, Wukong does this. If you're relying on a one item spike to be useful, push the item before you do something crazy. If you have already gotten a kill or 2 kills early, there's literally nothing else to do but to farm and make sure you don't do something stupid, because you're going to get your item before everybody, and you're going to be able to carry the next fight with your item. You've got your opponents on the ropes. The only time you let them go is by doing a goofy fight. So I belabored the point about dragon. I think you understand my position. This timing isn't as bad because I don't see anybody on map, but it's still kind of like it's still kind of like, I don't know, it's a little flippy, but whatever. Nobody looked like they were coming for you. Like you guys on the last one, you literally pathed on vision at dragon. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even like you were sneaky. This one is a little bit more dark. Like they don't see you go into.
Normally, if I see a Yi, I will lock in a Moo, but I won't do that here. Just so I can get some more Wukong experience.
Yeah, you're good. Oh, but your top laner just died. Okay, no, you can't kill that guy. I'm really hungry for bounties.
I know, I got a couple of them this game, but
Yeah.
it wasn't enough. That Cassante was just... he wasn't pulling any weight. And their whole team snowballed from that. Hecarim got fed, Renekton got fed, and both of them together just carried that.
All right, I think this is a misplay. You and Nautilus, when you have hard CC, you need to go after this dude. You can't just farm here. That's ridiculous by you.
We in a second here, and you'll see how that goes.
Are we loading in? Okay, let's look at this play real quick. All right, let's talk about this. So yeah, I would skip red. You need to skip red and go now. While you have the Nautilus here, you need to go and collapse. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's run this.